Hello, 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 and welcome to day 12 of 100 Days of Joy. My name is Lisa Blunt. I am a therapist, coaching consultant. If you haven't heard, thank you and welcome to my YouTube channel. If you haven't done so already, please click like and subscribe. And if anything today resonates with you, I want you to share this video. Today, I want to talk a little bit about self compassion. As we embark upon joy, we already know that focusing on joy doesn't mean ignoring what's going on around the world, but it means that you are giving yourself the care that you need to be able to further um, cope with, deal with, and navigate your way through the things that are happening in this world. So, before I start, I want to start off with some gratitude. Today, I am thankful for my good friend told me about some collagen. I am thankful for collagen today. Collagen, I'm not even gonna go into it. I'm just thankful for collagen today. I am thankful for I recently did a training on brain spotting. This is one of the devices that we use for brain spotting. I am definitely grateful for that. And as I feel like I've said this a number of times before, but yeah, I've said this a number of times before, but I'm grateful for my water bottle. Two and a half of these a day, and I've outdone myself with my water intake. So now that we've gotten past that part, and just being finding things to be grateful for in this moment, I just want to talk a little bit about self compassion. And I want to say that I want to go over a self compassion exercise. But before I do get into that exercise, I want to say a few reasons why I think self compassion is important. Not just why I think so, just because why it is helpful and necessary for healing. One, self compassion. Joy requires self acceptance. Joy requires self acceptance. So you can't fully experience joy if you constantly criticizing yourself. And self compassion allows you to embrace joy without feeling like you got to be perfect first. If you are like me, a recovering perfectionist, that part right there, just the acceptance of yourself, just the way that you are, is it's so key. It helps to release guilt. Self acceptance helps us to release guilt. Um, so many, so many women, so many Black women struggle with the feeling guilty for prioritizing ourselves first. Happiness, um, practicing self compassion reminds us to feel joy, as London Joy jumps up here, to feel joy, and that your joy is just as valid and just as necessary as anybody else's. So, self compassion helps us to relieve guilt. It helps to build resilience. It helps to free us from external validation, thinking that you need somebody else's approval to experience joy. You don't. You don't. Asset building resilience, but like helping us to move through places with kindness rather than judging ourselves. Oh, I'm too. Now. We can release those things in self compassion. And self compassion helps joy. Joy flourishes in softness, is what I wanted to say. Joy flourishes in softness. We can't always be hard on ourselves, always look to self compassion helps to create softness that allows joy to stay. All right, London, you got to get down. Self compassion creates a joy that allows, a softness that allows joy to stay. So I'm gonna say this. Let's do a quick exercise in self-compassion. And I think I want you to share with me how you feel after you do this exercise. So, how you feel after you do it, practice it tonight, practice it with me now if you can. I want you to start by finding a quiet space. Any quiet space that you can find. Find that quiet space, and then I want you to take a deep breath in and blow it out. And if you've been here for almost the last 2 weeks, you know how important the breath is for me. It helps to reset our nervous system. It helps to change how the brain responds and reacts and how it thinks, how we think of things. So the breath is really important. And a number of other things. So one more breath and release it. So, for this exercise, I want you to take a second and acknowledge your struggle with kindness. I want you to acknowledge any struggles that you might have with kindness. I want you to close your eyes and place your hands on your chest or over your heart. Think about a challenge that you've been facing. And instead of judging yourself for it, think about that challenge that you've been facing. And instead of judging yourself for it, I want you to simply name it to yourself and say to yourself, I see that this has been hard for me. I know some of y'all are dealing with like housing situations and moving and children and payments for things and whatever it is. I see that this has been hard for me, and that's okay. I am human and I am doing my best. I see this is hard for me, and that's okay. I'm human and I am doing my best. Take another breath. And then the other thing that I want you to do is I want you to write a love letter to yourself tonight before you go to bed or in the morning when you wake up. I'm better. I'm fresh in the morning. But I want you to do it tonight before you go to bed. But if you can't, you just can't do it first thing in the morning. But I want you to write that letter to yourself. And if you could talk to yourself the way you would talk to and comfort a friend, a close friend, what would you say? Write a message of kindness, or you could or say it aloud. But I really want you to write a letter or say it aloud though. If you just like, I don't want to write, or you can write it, put it in your voice memo in your phone. If you don't want to write it, or you just don't have the energy, whatever, for whatever reason you can't write it, I want you to put it in your voice memo in your phone, and write a letter and say to yourself, dear Lisa, I see how much you've been carrying, and and you don't have to be perfect to be worthy of love. You are enough just as you are. Your struggles do not define you. Your resilience, your softness, and your joy do. Just write a nice little letter to yourself. You can write more if you want. Number three, I want you to give yourself permission to receive love. Give yourself permission to receive love. Put both hands over your heart. Take three deep breaths this time. Ready? Both hands over your heart. I mean, uh, put it in the middle. um, and I want you to take three deep breaths. When you release it, let your shoulders drop. Let your forehead drop. Let your face relax. One more. Hold it and release it. Relax your face further. Relax your shoulders further. And one more. Just think to yourself, or you can whisper, I deserve the grace and joy and love available. I offer myself compassion just as I would for someone I love. I offer myself compassion just as I would for someone I love. You can add this to your day five. We did day five. On day five, we did affirmations. So you can add this to your affirmation list and keep coming up with more. I hope on day five, you created a list of affirmations. And if you haven't seen day five, go back and check out that video on affirmation. Because affirmations is another one of those things where you can speak those things that be not as though they were. And when you say a thing, it becomes so. So it's so important. I know sometimes people say, oh, well, it's not really true for me. I don't know what to do. And that's why affirmations are really important. Um, and what I want you to do is share in the comments one thing that you will tell yourself today. Share in the comments one thing that you will tell yourself today. If you don't have anything, I want you to repeat what I'm telling you to tell yourself today that you are worthy of love, softness, and care always. Always. I thought I've always wanted to do this. I love doing this. Um, but always. Yes! Let's do it again. You are worthy of love always. Have an amazing day. It's day 12. Come back tomorrow as we continue to remind ourselves to live in joy.